Songwriting is commoditized.
Yeah.
Musicianship here in town is commoditized. Commoditized industries always, if you're in that, you succeed by what's the one thing that's unique. It's you.
Yeah.
It's the person selling the commodity.
Yeah.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals.
Yeah, mostly. As always, man, thank you, Mr. Matt Wilson, for the Mostly Marketing Podcast. He hasn't put out an episode in a while, but he should, because every time he does, it's a fun listen. He's got really interesting musings, and if you want to listen to somebody who's basically a Yankee, but is a huge Mets fan, he's a Yankee who's a Mets fan. Go figure. It's crazy when you talk about that, you know? Yes, this is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. This is powered by Christian Brothers Automotive of Spring Hill. Go check out those guys. We have a sponsor. It's great. A title sponsor. Jason Miller, my buddy over there. He's been nice enough to just help us out. So gotta love that. And they do a great job if you got something that's your car needs. Everything pretty much but tires. He'll help you out with. Are you familiar with him, those guys over there?
Well, we've done business with him for sure. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
On the podcast today, do I call you Carl Wayne or CW?
You can call me Carl Wayne, CW, Carl Wayne Meekins, all the above.
You guys you'll never miss your truck. Because your logo, it's emblazoned.
I love that. Thank you for saying that, Jim.
It's cartoonish.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, you just can't miss it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I'm known to have a very loud personality, and they're like, man, not only can you hear them coming, now you can see them coming.
Well, it's funny, before we got to know each other a little bit, this is the first time we're meeting in person, but we've exchanged texts and stuff like that. Because you've rented trailers from us. Or not trailers, for our bucket
trucks,
truck.
My man. Yes, sir.
Bucket truck.
You're the bucket truck king. You know that, don't you?
I need to buy another bucket truck and rent it out.
Yes, you do.
So, and we've never met before, but you do have that infectious tone on your texts where it's just like, hey, man.
Yeah, man.
It's positive.
Let's get it.
Multiple exclamation points.
Well, check this. I got a great exclamation point story for you. We have a customer we're working with. And I just learned this last week, and everything that I do is exclamation point. And she's talking to me, and I had our project lead out there, and she goes, you know, every time I read your text, I think you're yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, in the text world, exclamation points means you're yelling at me, you're mad at me. I'm like, that is not where I'm coming from, kind of thing. So
I think if it's all caps, that would be yelling.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't know there was such a thing as text world, Jim, like etiquette and texting and all this. We have some young guys that work for us, and they'll shoot me some answers, and I'm like, I don't know what he's saying,
Well, I think ultimately it's anything that's written, you can't really decipher or discern the tone of it if it's without punctuation.
I know it.
You know?
Yeah.
Anything with just one period could be just get it done.
Yeah.
Get it. If you take the phrase "get it done" with a period, get it done.
That's right.
That's how I hear the tone of voice.
Yeah.
But if it's one exclamation point, get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Two exclamation points is like, to quote Pam from The Office, is like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that was 2 question marks.
Yeah.
2 question marks is like, what are you talking about?
So I try to get my personality out there on everything I do. Whatever it is, whether we're doing a graphic on a truck, a text message, man, thank God I got a positive personality, and I just want to infect people with it, kind of thing. Yeah. And most of the time it works in my favor, Jim, and sometimes it's like, man, I had a guy tell me one time, he goes, Carl Wayne, you're a double blessing when you come into somebody's life. I'm like, what do you mean a double blessing? He goes, you're a blessing coming, and you're a blessing going.
Oh, wow.
I was like, damn, that going. That hurt me.
You and I, we talked about a mutual friend, Rich Redmond.
Absolutely.
I've been friends with him going on almost 20 years now.
Wow.
And we do a podcast together called The Rich Redmond Show. Yep. TheRichRedmondShow.com. Go check it out.
You need to get me on that.
There's merch. A lot of merch.
He's a wonderful human being.
He really is. He's
a wonderful human being.
And it's funny because in all the podcast guests we've had a lot of younger drummers coming on, and they all pay homage to him
Yeah.
while they're here. They talk about how much he's inspired them. And he's so graceful receiving that information, but at the same time, you could tell, I don't want to make it all about me. I want to make it all about, well, that's part of why you're who you are, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to make it all about you, but these people feel compelled to tell you how you've impacted their lives.
Yeah.
Have you inspired them? Everything that you wrote down when you came to town, everything that you set out to do, make a positive impact in people's lives. You're just getting the feedback now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it happen.
Well, it's funny you say that about the whole writing things down thing. Rich is, in my opinion, and I've met Rich years ago when I first came to Nashville 23 years ago. And he, he is a living book.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to realize how important books are in my life, your life, a human being's life here, because somebody has written a book that they may long be gone off this earth. Yeah. But if we can take that book and learn from it, they're passing that homage, that legacy down to us. Yeah. Well, Rich is doing that, and he's still living. He's what I call a living legend. Yeah. And he gives back, man. I mean, he's a positive guy, and drummers are, a dime a dozen around here. So if you can get in the graces of him and learn from him and learn from his mistakes, and Rich is the kind of guy I'm pretty sure that he would tell you where the falls are, and things of that nature, and learn from it, kind of thing. He's grooming the next people, up and coming people, kind of thing. So
there's a lot of nuances in text speak and email speak that I've kind of garnered from him. I'm almost like a chameleon. Yeah. Where he uses the word pal a lot.
Yeah. You use that word a lot.
Because he uses it.
Okay.
And, I had another friend of mine who was also very positive. He used the word bud. Hey, bud.
Okay. Okay.
So I would like interchange and absorb and, put it into my vernacular to use those words.
There you go.
Yeah, I do that, man.
That's good, man.
It rubs off.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you become who you hang around, for sure. Wouldn't you agree with that? I mean, I'm a believer in this. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, we as human beings become a product of our environment. So whatever we hang around, whoever we hang around, we've got two choices. We're going to influence it, or we're going to learn from them, or we're going to, get in a trap of, I don't like being around negative people. People will tell you that. And as soon as I see that coming my way, or I'm in a situation where, okay, this is a toxic relationship, whether it be business or whatever like that, I'm moving on.
It's funny you say that. I've had a lot of, like, the last couple of years, especially being in an entrepreneurial role as we are. Yeah. You get seasons that are just, man, they're challenging.
Yes, they are.
We're hopefully coming out of one. We've been walking through the valley, and I think the valleys are there to make us appreciate the climbs.
Oh, man, you can't stay on the mountain too long, Jim. You know that. You got to fight in the valley, man.
You need some mountaintops.
Yeah.
A little bit of seasons of enjoying the fruits of your labor.
Sure.
But it's a marathon like most things. But sometimes these seasons where there are challenges, it's like, oh my gosh, I need at least a hilltop. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You definitely, you get into these, I call it valley duty, and most of us are in valley duty most of the time. You're not on the mountaintop for a long time. And that's good, because if you're always on the mountaintop, you're never going to grow. Right. You got to get in that valley and fight, man. And there are days, I don't know about you, Jim, I can't speak for you, but sometimes, man, I get to a point where I'm like, man, why am I doing this? Right. Right. And then my wife, she prods me along, and she goes, you're doing this because of this, and this and that. And she's my cheerleader, man, just like I am hers. It's a great thing. And people think I'm happy all the time. I'm a human being, man. I have my down times, and can really get down at times. And then, as you and I talked, I'm a musician, so I go right to my guitar, and that'll pull me out of some deep, deep, dark places at times.
Usually for me, it's when I'm stagnant, when the devil starts coming in.
Oh, yeah.
So I just like, it's the old song, when you're going through hell, keep on going.
Yeah, man.
It's momentum. Yeah. It's forward momentum that actually lifts me out. And, okay, what are we doing next? Right. I need some wins. What do those wins look like? Bradley has been a part of the podcast before, and he says, look, identify the positives from before, and what's one thing that you've improved upon from the previous day, and reflect on that. It could be anything. It could be making one more phone call. It could be not, making a better decision for a meal, or, maybe taking an extra 10 minutes for a walk. Count those as wins.
Stack the wins too, man.
They add
stack up. Them. Stack the wins up, and 100% agree with you. And there's a glimmer of hope and positivity and win in everything that we do every single day.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think that's the entrepreneur, true get into your soul spirit of the entrepreneur is like, man, okay, I'm never at least happy or comfortable being comfortable or content. You know, I mean, there's a such thing as like, I'd like to have a comfortable living.
Yeah.
I'd like to have the comforts of life, you know, maybe a nice home, an air conditioned home, hot water, things of that nature. But as I get older, and I think I sense this in you too, it's more like, man, you know, where I got to be challenged, right?
Purpose.
And purpose and learning, man.
Yeah.
Learning. I think the older we get, there's something to definitely be learned that we can learn that we never had any idea of how to do that. And for so many years, Jim McCarthy, what I would do if like, especially in the world that I'm in remodeling, contracting, there were so many times that something would come across my desk or something. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. No, but here's a guy that can or whatever like that. And then finally I got a hold of one of my best friends here in town turned me on to Earl Nightingale. Do you know that name at all?
It rings a bell.
I wouldn't say he's a motivational speaker, but he's long gone and dead. Gets back to the books I was telling you about. Started getting into him a lot. And he's like, man, you gotta quit stinking thinking, man. You know, because as soon as you say you can't do something, your mind shuts down. You're not going to do it.
Right.
How about let's get a legal pad on a piece of, you know, on a desk and write the problem at the top and then actually strategize how you're going to get to the end of it. And now we live in the world of YouTube. So if I have a problem where I've never dealt with something before, I'll go right in there and I'll start searching and searching and searching. And somebody around the world, not just the country, is going to have that same problem on a job that I've got. And then it's like, okay, we've gone as far as contacting that person saying, hey, I've watched your videos. There's one piece I'm missing out of this thing that you did not explain. Would you be so kind to shoot me an email back or give me a call so we can do this? And man, that just opened my world up, Jim, to the realization that for so many years I was stinking thinking. You know, I've written it in songs like, hey, man, most people don't get out of their backyard as Americans, you know, they never see the world. Of course, you're not that guy. You've been all over the world, all over the country, but it's the way we think, man, you know?
Hi, I'm Jason Miller. I'm the owner of Christian Brothers Automotive here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We fix cars here, both European and domestic, from simple oil changes to complete engine rebuilds and replacements. Most important thing, though, is while you're waiting, we've got the best snack game in town, and we invite you to make yourself at home and get to know us, and we treat you like family. We're located right across the street from Walmart on Highway 31 right here in Spring Hill. Let us know that you heard about us on this ad, and we'll give you 10% off your next oil change. So stop on in and see us in downtown Spring Hill. Do we even have a downtown in Spring Hill?
Well, a lot of what you're talking about is just being resourceful.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people, I see it in my kids. I see it in some of the younger people that they'll ask questions. There's an element of letters to, what do they call that? Letters to Santiago or something like that. It's a whole metaphor about, hey, I need you to mail this letter. And then the guy who's mailing the letter runs into a series of challenges. You could have one of two people. One person's going to, okay, what can I do to move on to the next, to get over the challenge? Then the other person will say, okay, I hit this challenge. What do I do now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it's Santiago. Letters to, it's something like that. But I just took ginkgo biloba today too.
Yeah.
My brain should be good. And it's essentially just showing the dichotomy between two types of people, the ones who will just be resourceful and figure it out. And when you're employing somebody like that, it's kind of, which one do you want? Maybe a mixture of the two. Yeah. Obviously not, hey, you asked me to do this, but I hit a challenge. What do I do now? Dude, okay, let me put down what I'm doing and help you now. And it's like, no. Resourcefulness is a trait of the entrepreneur for sure.
Man, I tell you
what,
got
to be.
So funny you say that because I heard a sermon years ago.
Letters to Garcia.
Letters to Garcia. Santiago Garcia. It's close.
Yes. Yes.
I heard a sermon years ago that it sticks with me every day. And my daughter now, she's working with us now in my company. She's 20. And with you having kids too growing up, as a parent, we are supposed to try to identify our kids' strengths and weaknesses and play to them. How do I bring out her strengths in her and things of that nature? And she is a learner by repetition over and over and over again. And she's got it and she works extremely hard. But what I heard on a sermon years ago was a sermon about Gideon. And I don't know the whole the whole deal with it. But here's the takeaway from it was work. If you get yourself in a situation, no matter what it is in life, instead of turning the faucet off and shutting everything down and panicking, fear, and all that crazy stuff from the enemy, work with what you got. Look around you. What do you have that may not be the necessary, and I'm going back to my field of my trade, may not be the right tool, but what do you have on your truck that may work?
Yeah.
And that changed my whole trajectory in life as well. So that's what I'm teaching her. And we have ongoing conversations all the time. I'm like, Carly, Dad, I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm like, okay, well, what do you have? Mm-hmm. And let's figure this thing out. Now, here's the deal. I don't have time to be troubleshooting my crew all day long, right? So it comes back to what you just said about you need to find that person that within time can be trained to know, hey, well, Carl said, just remember this, work with what you got, And if you don't have what you got, then you go get the part or the tool or whatever like that. But it's a game changer. I mean, it's pulled us out of a lot of situations, just having that mentality and I'm kind of like Rich out here, man, just trying to pour into these young kids that are with us, and growing them up and just giving them an opportunity to have a crazy, awesome life. Yeah.
I literally had a scenario a few weeks back where one of our people here had a challenge, and she's like, well, it was actually funny because we were trying to buy from somebody, and she was just simply trying to figure out how to follow up. And I said, well, first of all, considering that we're trying to buy from them, we're not trying to sell to them.
Right.
So follow up here is easy. Hey, we want to give you money. Mm-hmm. You're not making it very easy for us to give you money.
Right.
I need to hear back from you. If we're not a fit, then fine. I need to know and maybe just search. And she says, well, where else do I go? I said, Amazon. And she goes, oh yeah. I'm like, and you're the next generation coming up. You should be ahead of me on this. Well, but sometimes, what may be obvious to you isn't obvious 100%. To others. And
100%.
The stinking thinking thing really kind of gets me going because lately, because of the challenges I've been having and we've been having, it's they're challenges only because we're planting seeds right now. Mm-hmm. And during that time when you have so many different things, as John puts it, John Warner, my partner, he says, we're going way too fast to jump out of the car.
Yeah.
And I'm going, man, that's a great, that is a great metaphor.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Sure.
We just need a couple of them to pop.
Yeah.
A couple of these seeds to start sprouting up. But man, when you're waiting.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful. The wait is terrible, man. In anything that we do. And it's like, it's, I don't even know how to speak into that. The wait is tough. So the question is, what do you do in the wait? Yeah. That's really the question. So what do we do in the wait? Do you stop and do nothing? No,
you keep
you keep going
and forward momentum.
Yeah, absolutely.
You keep moving.
Yeah.
For me, it's been a lot of. I think God puts you into these places to break you down and remind you who's in charge.
Absolutely, amen, man.
And
golly day, that's so true.
I find myself lately. I've actually found a video from Tony Robbins. He went over his 10-minute morning priming routine, and I'm like, that's. Might as well try it.
Yeah, sure.
So when I can, I get out there and I sit out in my backyard, and that I should be grateful for, that I have a backyard that I could sit in.
Sure.
Because there are so many people, they would, I look at the house and we've been here for 20 years and it's in the same house. And I'm like, man, I know it. It's time to move on to a different house.
Yeah, I know.
How many people would love to have the house?
Let me tell you a story to knock you down, man.
Yeah.
So years ago, through our church here in town, we got involved with the Room in the Inn, which is what we would bring. This is in the cold winter months where we would send a van down to Nashville, pick up a handful of guys, and they would come on in. We'd feed them, and then we'd spend the night with them at the church and give them a bag lunch, feed them breakfast, get them out the next day. It's an awesome, awesome ministry. So I had a chance one night to talk to a guy and to get to know him a little bit, and he said, he kind of giving me a story a little bit, and then he was prodding me. He was asking me, he's like, man, I was telling him, I've got a mortgage, I've got payments here and there, kind of thing, or whatever like that. And we were talking about just he's homeless. He didn't have anywhere to go. We kept going on. And then finally, we got to the end of it. And he goes, man, Carl, he says, I wish I had a mortgage payment
to worry about. Yeah.
That's what he said, man. And it knocked me down, Jim McCarthy. It absolutely knocked me down. He says, man, I wish I had a mortgage payment to have a house, Mm-hmm. And that put it in perspective for me. It's crazy that you say that too, because we become complacent in our lives. And, God has blessed my wife and I with an unbelievable home that I never thought in a million years we would ever have. And I'm like you, I still find myself going, well, in the line of work that I do, man, I'm in all these crazy neighborhoods, Governor's Club, and all this beautiful manicured places. And I'm like, man, boy, that'd be so nice to wake up in that every day, kind of thing. So now I go into most of the neighborhoods that I work in. I'm like, Lord, I can't afford to live here, but thank you for letting me work here.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man. I've been in those neighborhoods too. And even if I had the money, I'd be like, yeah, this is way too ostentatious.
I love it though, man. Man, Jim, I love it. Man, West Haven, you've been out to West Haven. That's one of my favorite places. And it's got a village feel. My wife is completely against that place as far as living there. But man, I roll in the neighborhood and I'm like, man, look at that. The daggone rose petals are in perfect place, kind of thing. And I never thought I would ever get to that place in my life, but I dig that, man. I don't know. So
it's I can understand the appeal.
Yeah.
We have the same kind of feel over in Tollgate.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Not too far.
100%.
The what do they call the long and skinnies?
Yeah.
Tall and skinnies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting house to be in. If you guys not from around here, maybe you're listening from out of state, we've got a series of neighborhoods, even one being built right here in June
Right
Lake,
behind us. Yeah. Yeah.
where the houses are on top of each other, 0 lots.
Yeah.
They may have a space to hang out that's maybe 10 by 15 or whatever, but the houses are long and they're pretty much maybe 10 feet apart from each other, if that.
Yeah.
And, the main part of the driveway where you park your car or go into the garage is from the back of the house.
Right.
And the front of the house typically faces like a main thoroughfare or wherever. And, it looks nice and has that kind of cottagey feel, but it's
a little too close for comfort.
It is.
It is. Our neighborhood is a little bit, you have a little more real estate in between our home and the next home.
Where are you?
Not much. I'm over here in Brixworth, the last development right here up the road.
I'm in Burtonwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's prime real estate over there, though.
Yeah.
You're on the Williamson County side, right?
Williamson County.
Yes, sir.
And my backyard, my front yard is decent size. I don't really use the front yard all that much, but we have a nice back. I have a
great
30 by 50 patio that we scalloped out the earth and made a nice patio recently with a staircase. If we ever want, we could easily put a pool in.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Backyards like that. Like we lucked out in Vegas like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a giant backyard for Vegas.
Real estate is crazy. You're not getting for value for money. It seems like you're not getting the land. It is insane out there, man. I remember not very long ago that, if you're spending $1 million on a home or a piece of property, man, that guy, they must be loaded.
Yeah.
Man, that is nothing anymore. It's insane what people are getting for homes around the country is what I'm hearing, kind of thing. And I don't know, man. I guess we're just to the age now where we're kind of coming up and things are just different, hitting you different and all that kind of stuff. Your kids,
$1 million is not much anymore.
Not much anymore.
No.
The value of it is definitely not there. And I think I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. And I think about when he bought Graceland, and everybody's takeaway when they go into Graceland, it's like, golly day, man, my house is bigger than Graceland. What's the big deal? I'm like, well, you think about when that house was built, when he bought it back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it just seems like now, I do a ton of work up and down Concord Road, and the homes they're building there now are insane, Jim. And it's like, man, what in the world do you have to have? Why do you have to have this much home? And I think that's where we are in our culture now, especially here in Williamson County. It can be, the culture is, okay, well now, I remember my grandmother growing up in we went and visited with them, 800 square foot home.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Everything was there,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're talking 12,000, 15,000 square foot homes. That's kind of where our culture is now. Bigger is better.
Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of folks are bigger is better they don't want the upkeep of the yard. Boom. That's where it comes the toll gate and comes the June Lakes and all that kind of stuff.
Because they're going to work so much to afford where they are.
Yeah, man.
They don't have time.
But if you and I live next door to each other in like Tollgate or over here in June Lake, it's kind of convenient. It's like, hey Jim, I need a roll of toilet paper. Just hand it right through the window.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, even where my wife grew up, the houses are much farther apart, but similar styling because they were kind of on top of each other. A lot of the driveways were long. They went alongside the main house, and typically in the back of the house was a backyard and maybe another structure, garage.
Sure. Yep.
And in her case, she had like kind of a little turnaround parking area with a basketball hoop and stuff like that, but really long slivers of land coming off of the main street.
Yeah.
And where I grew up, it was, it's funny, the house I grew up came up for sale maybe, 4 or 5 years ago. And my brother and I were like, I wonder if we should just buy it,
Yeah.
And you look at what people did with it.
Yeah.
All the real estate pictures. House is still the same, man. It's relatively, but it was going for like maybe $650,000.
Yeah.
Which is not far off from what they sold it for back in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So it's like their real estate in Connecticut, that market stagnated a little bit. Down here, man, it
went crazy, man.
It's on fire.
Yeah. Well, that's how I got into our new places. We caught that rage with that wave when you could, sell your house for anything you wanted, really.
Yeah.
And then I was able to almost had the other place paid for, and then took that money that we made on that, the equity, and put it into my new place where I wasn't house poor, you know, kind of thing. But it's funny you say that about going back home. Like our first house, literally, when we came to Tennessee, is 3 miles up the road from where we live now. And so every now and again, I'll get this reminiscence thing in my soul where I'm like, I want to go by there and just see if they're even keeping up with all the landscaping we put in there and everything. And I went through there, man, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was sad.
Yeah.
Just everything overgrown and all that. And I'm like, man. So then you think, man, you think everybody thinks like you, you know, but they don't care anything about that. So I'm like, okay,
well, in Connecticut, growing up, especially being in radio, the real estate around there was like, you got to be kidding. There's no way we're going to be able to afford anything.
Yeah.
Especially in the immediate area where we were. We had to have to move to a town called Torrington, which was about 25 minutes away, in order to just afford to live.
Yeah.
But then I got hired out in Vegas, which provided perspective. And once we landed there and then we could see the rents, and you could have a decent quality of life and afford a house for very little. And it was a decent house.
Yeah.
We bought our first house out there. It gave us perspective. It made me never, ever want to move back to the Northeast. And we ended up moving back to, moving here 4 years after we lived out there. And the house we bought out there doubled in price.
Yeah.
In the course of time that we owned it.
In that short amount of time.
3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you though.
Right? It was great.
Yeah.
And
then when you guys moved here, have you been in Burtonwood? Is that where you are?
We've been there since 2005.
Okay. Then you got a great buy then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't seem so in 2008.
Yeah.
Now looking back.
You're sitting on a gold mine over there.
Oh
though.
man.
Yeah.
I would smack myself if I go back in time, figure out how to get capital and start buying up some of these houses.
All of it. Yeah.
Because they were all bought by like American Homes for Rent.
Yeah, 100% progressive and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids, how old are your kids now?
They are 19, 17, and 13.
Okay. Chapman's Retreat?
Chapman's Retreat, Summit.
Okay. My wife was at Chapman's for a long time, Tanya. And she just recently, she was there for 19, 20 years. And then she started at Crockett when we first got to town in Brentwood. Out here for 19, 20 years. Now she's back at Crockett. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, she got an offer there kind of thing. But yeah.
What's she doing?
She is now a reading resource coach. She actually started that program at Chapman's. And then something happened where they needed to consolidate 2 coaches there to one. And so anyway, she ended up at Crockett and loves it. So,
well, tell me, let's get into everything that you do. You came from the Chesapeake area in Virginia.
Yes.
And you're an artist. You pick up the guitar.
The guitar, yes, sir. The old guitar.
And, when we go through these valleys that we talk about, those are the best times to write songs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they just come out.
Mountaintops are good times to write them too, my man. But unfortunately, there's more valley time than there is mountain time.
The valley songs connect humanly.
Yeah, they do.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man. Chesapeake, Virginia is my home. Great Bridge Wildcats, class of 1989. And for those that are going to be listening to this from there, I'll make sure I push that.
Nice.
The Virginia Beach area is what a lot of listeners will know. A lot of people mistake Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, crabs, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Tidewater, Virginia, Norfolk, Suffolk. You've got some family out that way.
I do.
And born and raised there. I left there when I was 29 years old. Came to Music City, chasing the neon rainbow. And stayed on the road here till about 2004. Mm-hmm. And I came to town to learn the craft of writing, and ended up somehow miraculously jumping in with a band as a front man. It's supposed to be a really quick interim. couple months at the most, and that couple of months turned into 2 years, and finally I was having a hard time with everything because we were getting songwriting appointments, but I couldn't make them because I was in Mississippi playing a casino or something somewhere. Right. They got tired of me having to say, I can't make it. And the light bulb went off and said, man, I need to be in town kind of thing. And I started my first company at 19 years old in Chesapeake as a painting contractor. Had no clue about business whatsoever. None. Just knew how to get the job done, And then that morphed into kind of trying to scale it. Didn't even know what the word scale was. I was a fish, fish scale, right? Didn't know any of that kind of stuff, and didn't know how to make a profit. Didn't know what margins were, what markup was, or anything like that. And did not have any interest in wanting to go learn that in a college setting either. It just wasn't my language, my way of learning. I'm a hands-on guy. Mm-hmm. And I have a twin brother back home, Cliff. He went into the military, so he kind of followed that path. It's a military town too, of course. So anyway, got in at 19, started my own thing. I don't know how in the world I made it through it other than God pulling me out, man. There's just so many times where I fell and just learned about falling forward, or failing forward and getting up and going another round, kind of thing to fight. And then, of course, in 01, 02, we came here as a musician, and then spent a couple years on the road, decided I was coming off the road, needed to find a way to make some scratch here while I'm home, kind of thing. And ended up, I remember this. My wife was teaching at Crockett at that time, and one of her coworkers said, "Hey, I understand your husband's a painter at that time or whatever." And I did not come here to pick that brush back up, Jim McCarthy. That was not on my forecast at all. I was actually kind of pissed off when I had to. Right. Because you feel defeated. You know what I mean? You feel like I came here to be the next Garth. Now I've got to pick my freaking brush up to make a daggone living again. The notion of having something to fall back on is not something you want to fall back on. No. And I preach it now every day. I was like, you got to have a trade, man. You got to learn something so you can fall back on it. And here I am preaching that. And then when I had to actually do it, it wasn't fun to do it, kind of thing. So anyway, she had a condo in Brentwood and needed it painted on the inside. So I jumped in, did my thing. I've always tried to serve the customer extremely well. And I've never looked back since. That was in 04. Right. And then that went from painting and drywall contracting, doing minor repairs on drywall and stuff, to probably about 7-8 years ago. Kept having customers call me or ask me all the time, "Hey, we've got a bathroom kitchen remodel project that we would love for you to tackle." Yeah. I'm like, I'm a painting contractor. I don't know how to do cabinets. I don't know stinking thinking, right? And we talked about that earlier. It's totally shut it off for years. Mm-hmm. And then finally, I do believe the Holy Spirit, God got a hold of me and said, "Man, you need to stop thinking this way. I'm giving you all of this opportunity to grow your company and scale it, and you're just shutting the door on me, right? You're not even giving it a thought, Yeah. So then my best friend in town here, Chris Barker, he actually turned me on to some good books. He said, you gotta check these guys out. I'm not telling you they're going to change your life, but it may get your thinking different, mm-hmm. And it did. And then I just started taking on some projects outside of painting and drywall, and that turned into a full-blown remodeling company now. We've been doing that for a while. And Jim, I tell you, man, it's always hindsight. We know that. I should have been doing it when I first got to town here, other than the record thing or whatever, trying to chase that. But what I've learned in this whole thing is the remodeling jobs invite the painting and the drywall to come in. It's very difficult on the other pendulum of that, where the painting and drywall invite, "Hey, I'm a painter, but I can remodel your kitchen too." Yeah. You think they're going to take that seriously? Yeah. So, but when you go in as a remodeling contractor, it's like, "Hey, can you do this and do that?" So absolutely we can. We can do it well. Yeah. There's a lot of contractors that I've been involved with in the past years that they may offer all the services, but excel at maybe one or two. Right. And our brand is, if we're coming in to do whatever it is, we want to excel at it, give you a great experience. And then the only thing we don't do, I'm honest with them, and we're sending a guy to school now for it, is HVAC work. Oh, wow. We get calls all the time, man. And by the time they're calling a contractor, their heat or air is out. Yeah. And it's an emergency situation, right? So
you're basically becoming like a GC.
We are, yeah. And it's funny you say that. I have had my GC books for 2 years now. I went and took the law part passed it, and then got so here comes the college thing again. I got so bored with tabbing books and all that I just have not gone and gone through the process of taking that test and going and standing in front of the board and all that. But I need to. I would love to have that. Maybe I always tell my guys, maybe this winter I can slow down enough to apply 3 or 4 hours a day.
Yeah. I
hate it though, Jim. That's the war. I hate learning that way. And the thing with it is, I go to work every day in my playing field. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything that's in those books right there, and I actually go to those books for code. Like we had a call the other day on a plumbing repair we did, and before we buttoned the wall up, after it was open, I said, "Hey, let's go to the books real quick and make sure that this is going to be, the International Residential Code. It's going to be code, right, compliant." And we weren't. So, but we knew how to fix it. And the homeowner's like, "It ain't leaking, just board it up." Yeah. I don't care about the code, kind of thing. I'm like, well, you need to know. That's my job, is to tell you that, this is, and the repair is solid, but it wasn't code compliant. But anyway, so I'm excited about that. And I would love to have that hardware to say, hey, what do you do for a living? I am a licensed general contractor. That would be nice to say one day. Right. So yeah, I'm halfway there, man.
The same thing with me with getting the Part 107 FAA license for drone operators. I set out in 2020. I bought the course, have yet to complete it because of COVID. That kind of came up, and I just wanted to just do it. And little things just keep popping up. And eventually it's like to the point where I'm not even sure if it's worth it anymore.
Right.
Because it's so overregulated.
Yeah. But you got to have it though, man.
Well, if you want to do video, I mean, all I need is somebody here that's licensed. I mean, it's not hard to do. Yeah. I just got to, like you're talking about. But the adulting thing is that, well, next week when things slow down, and they never do.
Yeah, they never do.
That's adulting 101.
100%. And I live it every day. And it would give me peace of mind to have hardware where I could just, man, if I did that, I get calls all the time. Can you put an addition on my house?
Right.
I'm not comfortable with that because that's full blown everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just not comfortable
foundation,
with it. Everything. Could we do it? 100%.
Yeah.
Because we've been involved in projects where we're not that guy that does that, but I'm studying. Everywhere we go, we're studying. We're like, well, that's easy. We can do that.
Well, but, I mean, and that's good to have a little bit of hubris to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. That's a big word.
Would you say hubris?
Hubris. Just awareness of what you're good at. Just,
that's the first one for me. I love that.
A little bit of humility.
Thank you for that word. I'm going to use that. Is that free?
Because I mean, we've been in businesses as well where we can do it. Can we do it? Sure. All right, we'll do it. And it's oh gosh, it invites trouble.
It does. It does.
That's the failing forward.
Yeah, it does. And unfortunately, I do that still to this day, where it's like, I don't want to be the stinking thinker, but it's like you got to know when you're getting over your head and when you're not. And the fighter in me and the adventure guy in me and my personality is like, charge ahead. We got it, man. And then we get involved in it. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that gut feeling where it's like, I shouldn't do this. This is going to get me on the end of this. This is not really good. I mean, a really true Jim gut feeling. And we dive in anyway, because either we need the money or something's going on. We got to take this shot or whatever like that to get to the other side of it and going, I should have listened to my gut.
Well, with what we do, like, it's funny for me how podcasting has come back, because I got out of radio in 2013.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of other things. I was in the car business for a number of years. Huge learning experience that way. And I really, truly enjoyed selling cars, but got out of that, became self-employed in 2016. And, this kind of did voiceover, video projects, things in here. We started a lighting company in one instance. And podcasts were a thing back in 07, 08, back when I was at the radio station. They had a little bit of a early, like, real, they had a good start, but then they kind of died.
Yeah.
And then they came back with a vengeance in probably between 15 and 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no interest in creating podcasts.
Yeah.
That's even though this is something I can do, but what I can do is, thinking like you're talking about.
Sure.
I can create the intros. I can create the production pieces, because that's what I did in radio.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of got into podcasting, by doing it for some big names out there and getting on their radar.
That's awesome.
And then all of a sudden this little unit came out, the Roadcaster, which made podcasting all of a sudden all the things you needed to do a podcast, the recorder, the microphones, the cables, all the things. This is like a radio board for podcasts.
Sure.
And it was smart of Rode to do that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's a game changer. Now I could see how I can make this happen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I never in a million years thought that my skill set from radio would become in vogue again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I got to
thought I
tell
was
you,
done with it.
I'm not blowing air up, yeah, man, kind of thing, but you've got a killer radio voice. And I can see exactly why it would fit into the podcast world. I love podcasts, by the way. And I'm with you. I think they're taking off. And like I told you, my wife has a good 30 to 40 minute commute back from Brentwood every day this way, sitting in traffic. You know, that crazy traffic, man, coming off 840 in June Lake and all that now. And she's on this true crime podcast stuff and absolutely loves it. Next thing you know, she's sitting in the freaking driveway finishing up the freaking episode, you know? So, yeah, man, I love podcasts and I don't know what it's like in your world. You're very legit, very professional. And those that I guess they can see, you got cameras in here. It's a very professional environment.
Yeah.
I still mess around with artistry a little bit. So I still record and I still go out and play and things. And I get invited on different podcast scenarios. And some of them aren't so great. You know what I mean? They're just not pro. And what I have learned from being an independent recording artist, you and I have both, and you being in radio for so long in your early career, you know, we went from major labels and even some very wealthy independent labels. Aldean's label is Broken Bow. It's still considered an independent label with a lot of freaking money. It went from kind of the gatekeepers of the label people, right? You know that more than anybody that I'm talking to because you lived that world for so long. And now we're in the world of independent artistry. And what I thought, Jim, when I started recording again, it was after COVID. I actually ended up with COVID and almost passed away. And when I recovered, I'm like, God, I came to this town to make records and put music out. And I want to do that bad because I got something I want to say, you know? And then, so that's when it kind of ramped up for me. And we hired a team. I've got a guy out of Texas that works for us and here in town running social medias and everything. I thought, Jim, that I could go in there with like a blazing freaking saddle and just slay it. You know, what I have learned 3 or 4 years in now, is that the independent world is so inundated with talent that now we're all competing with each other by the millions, you know? So where you've got your material uploaded to Spotify, you know, I was thinking the first run out, I put my first single out that will have, you know, I'll have surely 100,000 streams in 1 week. Yeah. I don't have 100,000 streams on the song that I put out 4 years ago, you know? Right. So I had to eat a whole lot of humble pie. And then it's like the stinking thinking comes in and the enemy starts wearing you out, starts gnawing on your heel going, you ain't nothing, boy, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, okay, you got to start thinking. So what is the deal? What's going on? And then, so I started doing a lot of research on Spotify, trying to figure that out. Spotify has a podcast world too, correct? Is that where you put a lot of stuff out, kind of thing?
We're on all the big platforms.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what I've learned. And what I come back to is, okay, now we're in the culture of, you know, the major labels are still making decisions, even on the big platforms, right? They're still making the gates open and things. However, as an independent artist and a major label artist, what is the one thing that is the fueling factor to get a hot podcast out there, or an independent artist like myself or whatever? And I come down to it's still marketing.
Yep.
It's marketing. And then when you get a guy like me that doesn't have a several $1 million marketing budget,
you got elbow grease though.
You got elbow grease, you got to burn and churn, man. And you got to content in things. And so it's been here's the deal with my music side associated with my business side, my remodeling company. I can see action happen every day in my remodeling company. We sell a job, boom, that shot of dopamine goes off my brain. I've been doing this for 30 some years now altogether. Right. And I can sell a $200 job or a $300,000 job. Take that back. I've never sold that kind of thing. But it's the same amount of, you just get that high, that shot of dopamine real quick going, man, yes, I sold something. It feels good, you know?
The win.
And then when you sell a nice job for somebody and you finish it, you wrap it up, your team is extremely pleased with it, the customers are extremely pleased with it, that is a freaking win for me. I'm stacking that win. I don't see that in the music business with me, and it drives me insane, Jim McCarthy.
I think because, and I've been kind of thinking about what the music business, the songwriting business, I do a couple of podcasts that have songwriters and musicians on them.
Yeah.
They're doing the smart move of pivoting into podcasting, because I honestly think for a lot of artists out there, legacy artists, the Aldeans, Trace Adkins, those types of people, you see John Rich doing it.
Yeah.
He's become more of a political commentator on X and all the different platforms. He still writes songs, but nothing like what he used to do.
Sure. His
new direction is addressing what he thinks is the morality of the country, the direction, so on and so forth. So that's what he's doing. I think there's another podcast I just recently started, launched for a client called Circling the Drain. It's with Johnny Bozeman, Johnny B from the old Phil Valentine show.
Circling the Drain. Is that
It's a newer podcast.
Is that with who's
Johnny B?
Is it just you and him?
It's Johnny B, Jay Harper.
Jay Harper. I just sat down with Jay Harper and had a he's with WSM.
Yeah.
And we had a talk a couple of weeks ago, and Jay's great. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's what the Circling the Drain, that boom. They just launched that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just launched it last week.
That's great, man.
So I'm the executive producer and somewhat of a co-host with those guys.
Johnny B in the house tonight.
Johnny B dancing in the booth.
I tell you what, man.
So,
Phil, golly day, there's some.
Yeah.
Jim, you bringing back some good old radio listening, man. So good.
So basically, I think, music business has been pivoting since the advent of Napster. They've had so many challenges of the delivery of the product to the consumer, going from 8-track to cassette to CDs. Then Napster comes out and everything's for free and you have file sharing. So they had to nip that in the bud. And Steve Jobs comes out with the iPod and all these things. Now you can just listen to whatever you want streaming.
Yeah.
I don't know what the pivot is, because now with AI into the mix, Spotify, I believe, can just hit a switch and say, you know what? Why should we pay the royalties on these things when we're getting AI music that people they're vibing with and they're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Let's just go over here.
I know it, man.
They can make that decision.
Yeah.
That's troubling.
That's a massive gatekeeper.
It is a massive gatekeep.
Yeah.
But that's the stinking thinking like we're talking about. I think the solution is just, it's going back to the old song. I think it's Martina McBride wrote it, do it anyway, build it anyway. Even though all these things are kind of stacking up, do it anyway.
Yeah.
If this is what you believe to do, this is what you want to do, then put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's an idea. One of my giftings is being able to sit back and listen to what you're saying. And I'm like, ooh, I've got an idea formulated.
His mind is
It's
churning.
a morning idea. So what if you combine the two?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear that all the time. Man.
Where you're basically on a job site and you maybe got a camera set up and you go and write a song about what the guys are doing.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me tell you, man, Jim, it's so funny you say that. And man, I could talk all afternoon into the evening on this, but my dream was to incorporate we all say reality TV is not reality,
right?
But a show based out of Nashville where it's, here you are chasing a guy, trailing a guy that came to town to my story or whatever like this. And this is how we do it in Nashville. And then I come in and I showcase people like you. Yeah. Like, hey, we're going to see Jim McCarthy today. We're on his podcast. We're going to learn about you, kind of thing. Other aspect is, we do a big kitchen remodel. At the end of the remodel, let's have a house party. Let's sit in your living room with my band and play. Invite all your neighbors, and stuff. Because here's what I'm learning. HGTV is never going away. People love that stuff. And you always enhance the program with music.
Right.
It's just going to be my music, And we got close one time with some ideas or some people that may want to get involved, and it kind of just fizzled out. I think maybe Kobe got a hold of that or whatever like that. But I love it. because I still play. I still go out and I'm in Branson quite a bit during the seasons, and I still play around town and stuff like that, and still write and things. But to incorporate it all, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm game for it,
It's just having the guitar at the ready and maybe a camera on a tripod.
Yeah.
You set it up and you just try it out, see what works. Maybe it's writing a song describing what you see. Randy Newman, they used to make fun of him on Family Guy.
Yeah.
Randy Newman's over there singing about stuff he sees.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the element of that, and you start there. But ultimately, I had the same idea for a guy who was an attorney. I said, dude, singingattorney.com.
Yeah.
Run with it. You're welcome.
Yeah.
He never did.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to be a legit songwriter. I said, but I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You could still do it,
Yeah.
And there's still a human connection, but you've got AI that's pulling from the depths of historical humanity.
Yeah.
That it can go back in time. Oh, write you a song about this and tap into the human emotional component of it. Oh, okay, easy. I can do that in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It'll take a human being life experience and all the different things to reflect being in the valley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's maybe the pivot is it's still a personal branding thing. Songwriting is commoditized.
Yeah.
Musicianship here in town is commoditized. Commoditized industries always, if you're in that, you succeed by what's the one thing that's unique. It's you.
Yeah.
It's the person selling the commodity.
Yeah. 100%.
So in this case, get your guitar out, sing a cover.
Yeah.
Sing an original. Put out stuff that people want to, that'll stop the scroll.
That's right.
Does your garage door sound like this? If it does, it's screaming for help. Call Incredible Doors, 931-348-DOOR. We're making garage doors in Murray and Williamson counties work better and sound better. We just make them incredible again. Go to IncredibleDoors.com or call 931-348-DOOR. Follow us on Facebook for specials on maintenance visits, keypads, and other items. 931-348-DOOR. IncredibleDoors.com.
Yeah.
That's the Instagram, the TikToks.
Yeah.
Use all the platforms for free advertising and just have fun with it. When I tell people that are getting into podcasting, well, how do I monetize? Hey, we could talk about monetizing. You can always hang a shingle right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're going to get what you're asking for is a different story.
Yeah.
But you can always ask. And you can always approach it and go to a company and say, hey, this is a ground floor opportunity. What if I gave you a year of title sponsorship for X amount of dollars and at least fund and offset the cost of production with me, of course? That's something you can do.
Yeah.
But until then, you need to figure out the joy in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has to be fun.
Yeah.
Because that's about as much as you're going to get out of it for the first 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, unless you really got a ton of money you're putting against it and you're promoting the crap out of it and boosting posts and stuff like that, and you're putting content out at scale, you just have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting a business.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
These things don't happen overnight.
That's right. And the content capture is probably the hardest part, you know, just having the camera available and capturing the content. And then of course, in your world, editing can be a
We're
bear.
carrying a 4K camera at any given time.
Yep. You know? Yep. Yeah. I have no excuse,
right.
You know, kind of thing. But yeah, so that's, you know, incorporating the two would be awesome. I love the idea of going. I love when I was a kid and teenager back in Chesapeake, Virginia, and Nashville stars would come to our place, up and comers, and we had this pretty large club back there where Brad Paisley got a launch there, Rascal Flatts, saw all the awesome talent there. But they would roll in on their buses and all that, and it's just like, man, it's just magical, you know. And then you always wonder, what would it like to be on one? Can somebody peel the curtain back? Right. And let me know what this life is like or whatever like that.
Well, Brittany and Jason are kind of doing that. Like through their, like she's really good at it. Like, hey, let's tour the new bus.
Yeah,
and show you all the stuff that you'll never have.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So yeah, man. So stuff like that and just keeping it, like you said, new and entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, people. I think I know you were listening to one of your podcasts the other day with Alan Ron Allen.
Yep.
You guys were hitting AI and the real deal from the radio aspect, and the human touch, you know,
live and local
is huge. We do a little advertising on News 2, Local 2 kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I love that local kind of thing, and man, it's just, you know, you guys were talking about how can you identify what's AI generated and what's not, and he if you remember the story, he was riding with his wife back from somewhere.
Yeah.
He picked up on it, but maybe she kind of didn't or whatever, you know, kind of thing or whatever. And it's like, you know, what is AI generated and what it's not? I had a pretty bad conversation with my daughter because the guitars are all over my house, and that's pretty much what I do when I'm home is pluck around or write something. And she came to me one day. She goes, "Dad, I wrote a song," and I'm like, "Well, let's hear it." And she played it for me, and it freaking sounded amazing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of lines that didn't make sense, you know, kind of thing or whatever. And I said, how'd you come up with this?
Yeah.
She goes, well, I went into something app or whatever, explained to the app what I wanted to say and do, and it came out, and I was like, hold on, time out. Time out. What you just did in 10 minutes has taken me months to write, kind of thing. And I was like, Carly, I'm totally against this because you didn't dig for it. You didn't. It
came easy.
It came way easy, And so, man, I don't know, Jim, where that's heading, man.
I don't think anybody does, and it's, you got,
you brought up a good point with Spotify. It's like, what? Because as a listener on the other side of the speakers,
you're not going to know the difference.
What do we know?
Right.
Other than that freaking sounds awesome.
But, the thing is that when you have a bunch of garbage coming out at the same time, which we've had, periods in music over time that certain things run its course. The pendulum kind of goes too far to its zenith and it's got to come back down. Let's take, 80s hair metal, for example, hair bands.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the 80s, they all just started sounding alike.
Yeah.
Big hair and the big sound, wall of sound. And then all of a sudden Nirvana comes out. It's refreshing. It's different.
Sure.
You're experiencing that now, even in the country genre.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
A lot of the bro country just kind of ran its course. They started sounding all alike.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Jelly Roll comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a nerve with the songwriting. And I Am Not Okay. He's tapping into a cultural, zeitgeist of sorts where look, we need to admit, like even on this podcast, I talk about all the things to let business owners know that despite what you see on social media from some of these coaches, gurus, and all these bropreneurs that are telling you, if you're not doing this every day, waking up at 4 a.m. and doing this and blah, blah, blah. And, if you do this in a month, you're going to have $30,000 a month, all this other crap.
Sure.
There are still business owners out there that need to hear, yeah, it sucks right now.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I try to do to the podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I think there's certain topics that resonate. That's why I think Jelly Roll's resonated because nobody's okay.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. He's one of our clients, man. And man, he is a wonderful, wonderful human being. And,
he's been at it a long time.
He has, and from a whole different genre of music in his earlier days. And man, I listened to Jelly Roll's voice, Jim, and I'm like, man, that he has a fantastic country voice.
Yeah.
And
it's unique.
Yeah, it's unique. His story is great. He is an absolute wonderful human being if you ever get around him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a wonderful man. Working hard to get in shape and try to get his life under control that way, kind of thing and stuff. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's I don't know where it's going or whatever, but like to your point on the joy and, just keep cranking,
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
I think you did that even when you picked up a paintbrush. You had to do what you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, what's the joy in it? I tell my kids that all the time. It may be drudgery. It may not be exactly what you want to do, but find the one thing that you enjoy about it. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
We've all had, dreadful jobs.
Yeah.
When I got started in the car business, I was coming out of the radio industry where I was the man.
Yeah.
And then I get into an industry where I'm like, I am a fish out of water.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How'd you get pulled to the car industry?
Because I needed to make better money. Radios, I was hitting, I at the time with my side hustle and doing voiceover, video production, a bunch of different things outside of the scope of the radio station, I knew I should have doubled down and concentrated more on it. I knew it at the time, but I just didn't. I don't know why.
Right.
But I think ultimately it was a God thing that, hey, you need to do this because you're going to gather so much valuable information out of that industry. It's not going to be your thing for the long term, but for 2 to 3 years, you're going to learn so much and you need to learn this stuff. And I think ultimately that's why I had a friend of mine working at Crest Honda.
Okay.
He was the general manager, and we'd done a lot of work together at the radio station. Long story short, he was actually been on the podcast probably about a year ago now. His name is Steve Brink. Great guy. He ended up, he brought me on. He said, hey, if you sell 20 a month, you can make X amount of dollars and blah, 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 and feed your family. But what he didn't tell me was that, there's a bit of a learning curve, and you got to, like anything. But at 37 years old, I should have known that. Yeah. And I think I did. Yeah. But I went into it, came out of it, I think a much better person because it taught you how the sales process, you got your at-bats 3, 4, 5 times a day with people buying the second largest item they're going to purchase.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that stretches you.
Yeah.
Realtors don't get those opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're selling the first largest thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That when you get that kind of repetition and you learn to ask the right questions, you overcome objections, you have your go-tos that you kind of fundamentally, this is the concept, but you kind of repackage them as your own. And then as you say them, you want to believe what you're saying.
Right.
So you can put your head down at night on your pillow.
Honesty and integrity, man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, even shooting straight with people.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've taken the wind out of people's sails, but just saying, we make money on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be upset about. That's how we stay in business.
Sure.
That's how we're able to service your car after you're done with us.
Yeah. It's so funny that you talk about that, because a lot of stuff we do would be like a handyman kind of an opportunity where somebody will call up and say, hey, I have got 5 large pictures that I want to hang and X, Y, and Z. And they're like, what does that look like for me, cost wise? And then I shoot them a price, hourly rate per man with a minimum, you know, and they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, let me tell you what goes into that. You've got one of my trucks coming out. You've got an employee that makes pretty good money and all the insurances that come with that. I mean, the general public doesn't realize that, what goes into that. They want, most of them, a lot of them want, I just want to get this done. And I want to pay the least amount possible.
Of course.
I get that. And I probably was that guy years ago too, as a consumer. But now that I've been on this side of the business for so long and learned how to, through a bunch of failures, learned how to come up with, okay, what is my price point? What are my, what are my overhead expenses? Where do I need to be at to send somebody out, kind of thing? Mm-hmm. And that's been a pretty big challenge on my end, because, I don't like to study and learn that way, but you have to if you want to stay in business. Profit for any of us, including you, bucket truck rentals, whatever it is, whatever businesses you're in, profit keeps the doors open. Yep. You have to make a profit. And you know what, Jim? I've met some people along the way, some customers that don't want you to make any profit. It's the craziest thing. It's like, man, no. And I'm like, I got a life too. We have an economy that we have to stimulate.
It's understanding what is it you're doing. Again, in a commoditized industry, remodeling is there's an artistry to it, but there's so many people out there doing it, and it becomes somewhat commoditized.
Yes.
In the car business, same thing. We're basically semi-commoditized, even though, hey, I like more colorful brands. I like a sedan or SUV. I like this brand versus that brand. So when I sold Mercedes, we were just selling against other Mercedes dealers, other used car dealers. And typically when, they'd come to see us, we were a legit bona fide Mercedes dealer. We could certify per the factory requirements, so on and so forth. So whenever I would always, and these are one of the things that I always learned is, okay, I completely agree. You can find this cheaper, but why are we talking right now? Why are you here talking to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I really like you. Great. Why else?
Yeah.
Well, I just get a good feeling that, the way you present this proposition, blah, blah, blah. I know you're going to be doing a good job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be happy with it. Great. Why else? I would literally do that.
Yeah.
Because if I know you could absolutely find this exact car for probably $2,000 or $3,000 less. Go to cars.com right now.
Sure.
Same specs, same mileage, blah, blah, blah. But why are we here talking about this one?
Right.
Well, because it's certified. Great. Why else? Well, because it's this. Great. Why else? Great. Why else?
Yeah.
That's why it's $2,000 to $3,000 more.
Yeah. Man,
what you
just said, I needed to hear that, because I tell you, man, I hear that. This is what I get all the time. I get calls where I'll come out for any kind of job. Let's say a bathroom remodel. Yeah. And they've had several people. This is what I'm getting before this is my discovery call. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why are you calling me? Right. And I've been ghosted by, 2 or 3 other contractors that said they were going to come out. They never showed up, or they came out and looked at everything, but I never heard from them again. Yeah. And something like that. Or the common one is they set an appointment and they never showed up, never called me or anything like that. And I'm like, okay. And then when I shoot my estimate to them, they're like, oh my God, you're, X, Y, and Z higher than these other guys. I'm like, well, I called you back. I gave you your estimate, kind of thing. And it's just like, it's like the general public at times just don't understand.
They don't.
They don't understand it.
In everything, what may be obvious to you is not obvious to
others.
Right.
I think you nailed that. That's 100% correct.
Yeah. I've been using that a lot this week, actually.
Yeah. Going back to the Napster, Spotify thing, I think what Napster did to the music industry, and I don't know how you think about this, but it kind of gave the human being, me included, the mindset that I don't have to pay for music anymore.
Right.
And that just crushed the money in the business.
I want it for free.
Yeah.
Car business did the same thing. All the cars are negotiable.
Yeah. Yes.
And I want the best deal.
Yeah.
Which means, but I don't like spending so much time at a car dealership.
Right.
And I would use that. Well, I hate buying cars. Well, why is that? Because it takes so much time.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why it takes so much time? Because you go in with the anticipation of a back and forth. And when we were selling cars, when we were selling Mercedes, a company I worked for, they had a true pricing model. They market priced every car, new and used. They didn't have to do it with Mercedes because the nearest Mercedes dealer was over 100 miles away.
Sure.
We had no competition until they did.
Yeah.
And it's like they would still knock 10 to 15% off of a car right off the top.
Yeah.
Off the sticker.
Yeah.
And they'd still want a better price than what was.
Yeah.
And I would say, we're understand we're knocking 10 to 15% off. When was the last time that you went in and bargained for a loaf of bread at the cash register?
Yeah.
Granted, it's apples and bowling balls, but still, the concept is there.
Yeah.
Your $4, loaf of bread. You're not going to sit there at the cashier and say, "Hey, I'll give you $3.20."
Yeah.
That's what takes so long.
Yeah, it does.
So, what matters to you more, your time or your money?
Yeah.
Because we're already 10 to 15% below sticker price. Honestly, with taxes, title, and everything out the door, you're still going to be below sticker price.
Yeah.
I would use that tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Your sticker price that you see on the Monroney, you're going to be below that number.
Yeah.
When all is said and done, with just the car, without all the extra stuff that you should buy. And as soon as I would point, you're right. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
I think the contractor, with the world that I live in, and then the car salesman.
Yeah.
We are
any salesman
undervalued. We are kind of I wouldn't say scum. That's not the thing. What's the word I'm looking for? You're a man with words. We're seedy, dirty.
Anytime you go into a situation looking to separate somebody from their money.
Oh, it's tough.
It's one of those things that you are looked upon as pervasive.
Jim, we could talk about this on another podcast. Man. I had this conversation before I came here. I looked at a job in Brentwood that's probably, if they did everything, house is vacant, they don't know what they want to do with it, sell it, rent it, continue to rent it. Renters are beating it up, Awesome piece of property, but it needs a lot of work. It's probably 90s oriented.
Yeah.
And it's everything needs upgraded. So we're talking, 100 to get this thing, floors, painting, everything tricked out, looking nice. And the person I'm dealing with is the assistant to the actual buyer, who I'm trying to actually sell to, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And for me, when I'm going into a massive project like that, I'm like, it sure would be nice to know what is your budget? And to your point on the money thing, that is the one thing a human being, man, does not want to talk about is money,
right.
But if I knew you only had $75,000 to produce this, that gets my head thinking in a different way of how can I do this? I mean, I get the whole thing where if I show you my cards, then if it's a $25,000 job and I told you I had $50,000 to spend, you're going to go for the 50,000 mark, kind of thing. I totally get that. Mm-hmm. But there is so much time involved in me figuring out that job of what it's going to actually cost.
Oh, yeah.
What does CW Meekins get to pay to produce this job? Right. And then what do I need to have with my overhead and profit? What do I need? What does it need to be at to make a profit?
Right.
That takes time, man.
It does.
That takes hours for me. When it can all be resolved, like, listen, I'm an honest guy. I don't expect you, but here comes the stereotype is the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah.
The contractor stereotype. They're just trying to get my money and run kind of thing. Fortunately, man, I have been, by the grace of God, been able to build my brand where most of the people that call me are legit, ready to do business.
And you make a good point there.
Yeah, Yeah. And so the thing with showing me your cards and just, man, if I could just know what you're spending, this is going to eliminate a lot of time on my end and a lot of time on your end. If I never have the job, I'm tap dancing for you right now.
Right.
You would hire me in a heartbeat. I know that.
Yeah.
The only thing separating me from working for you is the money.
Right.
What's the money? Let's talk about that first. man, I just do not have any luck trying to close a deal like that because everybody's scared to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to share with you too that drives me crazy, and I want you to give me some Jim McCarthy advice on this if you can.
I'll try.
Free estimates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's been a big thing for me. In the construction business, it is known, or home remodeling, whatever it is, home services. Everybody puts it on their business cards. Everybody does this, and we give free estimates. All right.
Right.
And I just told you that sometimes estimates for me take hours to produce on a job that I will never, ever get.
Right.
Okay. So then I got this wild idea a long time ago. I was like, man, I'm going to start charging for estimates. Well, that lasted for about one job, because it doesn't work. But my theory is, somebody brought this up to me, and this is where I'm going to get your take on it. They said, man, okay, so you've got a pretty bad sinus infection, right? And you've done some over-the-counter medicine that's just not working. You need to go to a doctor to get checked out. That doctor's not going to give you a free estimate to tell you what's wrong with you. Right. You are going to pay that bill, period, right? So it's like, our brains as human beings and the culture that we live in, when it gets to the world that I'm in and trying to actually educate you and sell you on something, opposed to the services that we pay for. You don't pay your electric bill. Well, that's a different deal. They're cutting the power off, but that's not even the same thing. You're not going to go somewhere and get a free estimate on your body.
Right.
When you need medicine to help you heal, kind of thing.
You certainly can. If you could shop around and ask doctors, and how much do you charge? Let's say take insurance off the table.
Yeah.
And figure out, just a cash deal. What am I looking at here? You certainly can, but going back to, you had asked, going from the budget route, trying to extract that information from a customer. Yeah. Because we've all done that. What is it you're looking to spend? Well, that's why I'm asking you. I need to know what this is going to cost. That's typically the response. Okay, completely understand, especially when it comes to podcasting or video, like what we do. Similar to yours, I had an instance with somebody who's kind of selling on our behalf, and she just wanted, I just need simple menu items to present to a client. I said, easy peasy. She's like, she sent me an email. I need a price for a website video for blah, blah. And these are all nebulous concepts, and I'm like, okay, but how long is the website video? Is it 2 camera, 3 camera? Is it single camera? Is it require 2 people? Where is it? Where are we driving to it? There's so many questions. And she's like, well, it's just simple. Just give me, no, it's not that simple. Right. We need to have a phone call. What is it that you're looking for to present to your clients? And let's narrow it down from that. That's how we can price that out. And that's exactly what we did. But when you go back to a budget kind of opening salvo, I typically, and this is something I learned from somebody in radio, one of the guys at the president of the company, he says, whenever somebody doesn't know about budget, then I go to bracketing. Okay. I've seen it cost as low as this and as high as this. Yeah. Yeah. Bracketing's good. And I've used that. Like today I use that. They asked me, can you give me a ballpark of what this might run? I said, you're in between this and this. Yeah. Does that scare you? How does that hit you? Yeah. And she's like, well, that doesn't hit me bad at all. I'm like, okay, now I know you're serious. Right. Then I'll put my pencil to work and get going. It's just I love even selling the actual aspect to be like, you do realize when I put an estimate together, this is first and foremost, we are feeling each other out. We're
vetting each other, right? Yeah.
The one advantage and leverage that you have coming in is that, hey, I've answered your call. I'm here now. Sure. You certainly can find this service a lot less expensive elsewhere if that's a real contingency. Keep in mind that also I've been doing this a long time, and it is incumbent on me to do the best job possible because this is how I survive. Yeah. You see my trucks and vans everywhere. There's a brand. There's a power of a brand that goes behind that, and it's incumbent on my performance and my activity and how well I do and how happy you are at the end of this thing. Yeah. Okay, so if we're going to gut your kitchen, and I had this conversation the other day. Another guy came on my podcast yesterday. He was doing design build remodel, very high end type stuff. Sure. And he's like, look, it's all about the communication and setting those expectations up front.
100%.
It's going to be messy. There's going to be things that we're not seeing. It's going to take 12 to 18 months. There's going to be discomfort because you're going to have to have an alternate living situation while we're doing this, whatever that may look like. Okay. It's going to cost quite a bit of money. But the great thing is the quote I give you, that's the number no matter what. Yeah. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. Okay. And if that's something you can work with, we're probably looking between blah and blah, X and Y. Is that fair? Do you want to move forward? Because as I put this quote together, it's going to take me a day or two.
Right.
It's going to be some time.
And that was Jim McCarthy, business coach. Freaking
And honestly,
awesome. You're really good at that.
Well,
I mean, seriously, that's good. That's good stuff.
But I mean, a lot of that is just if people are so price conscious, as they should be, as they are.
Yeah.
You know, and price comes up. John's got a great way to address it. John Warner, my business partner, he doesn't believe in, you know, he just builds the value in what you're doing, and the price is the price.
Right.
And that's another way to do it.
Yeah.
But if they're so hell bent on, like you do, and it laying all that out to somebody, it takes this and 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 this, and then bing, you got what problem are we really solving here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're giving you a new, cool space. It's updated. It's modernized. You're going to be able to, and it's catered to how you live.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to me, to make sure that, you know, where do you put your keys down when you come in, and all the things.
Yeah.
All those little things, like, you know, painting like, as we say in radio, word pictures.
Yeah. Sure.
Create the image for them.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of, even with Mercedes, and I'm going off on a tear here, I learned the story of the brand, the little cool design features of the car that were always based on practicality, the little winglets on the tail lights that were designed to flick off water so it didn't wrap around when you were going down.
Yeah, man.
You know, those little things you'd point out and be like, oh, wow, I never realized that before.
Yeah.
I would knock on the doors, and especially if they were comparing us against Lexus or Acura. And if we had a Lexus pre-owned on the lot, I would make sure to walk by it and be like, I would always say, you know, you're shopping us against Lexus? Yeah, we're looking at the ES or whatever. I said, man, they make a great car. For a high-end Toyota, man, they do a great job.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, high-end Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's the executive. That's Lexus stands for, you know, Luxury Executive US.
Yeah.
That's a Toyota.
There you go. Yeah.
An Avalon is basically an ES. You can buy a Toyota and drive an ES. That's essentially what it is. It's just change the parts out. The thing about a Mercedes is that it's one of its own.
Yeah. I never knew Mercedes had it. Maybach is
like a partnership with design.
Yeah. I had no clue that you buy a Mercedes, you're buying a Mercedes.
Yep.
Yeah. You know,
and it's the oldest brand.
I will tell you that I have one. And I have an old 2010 CLS 550, and I absolutely love that car.
Yep.
Never had a Mercedes up to that point.
Beautiful car.
And I absolutely fell in love with everything about it, as far as and that's an older car considering now, you know, but it's got, we could talk about Mercedes I became a Mercedes fan.
Yeah.
Love them.
Anyway. And they're rock solid.
The car is like, my wife drove a Nissan for a long time, and the difference of me getting out of my car when I drive it in her car, it was like a feather over here in the Nissan, and in the Mercedes, it was a tank, man.
Right.
I mean, heavy car.
It's a safe car. It's designed to keep, it's obviously luxurious.
Yeah.
As one of the guys I worked with, he says, what makes a Mercedes are the things you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I mean, I would literally, like I said, I would walk by a Lexus and knock on the door panel, and it was, in a Lexus, it was a very hollow sound.
Sure, absolutely.
In a Mercedes, it was like,
it's like, I'm just like that.
Thuddy.
Yeah. The door is heavy when you open it up.
Right.
Compared to.
Look at the door hinges.
Yeah.
I would point out the door hinges. I would always use the word Herculean.
Yeah.
I said, those are forged door hinges that are bolted into the frame. I said, that's the kind of stuff that makes a Mercedes a Mercedes.
Yeah.
If you look at what the door hinge on a Lexus is, it's stamped metal. Wow. That's bent into shape, and, it still does the job.
Yeah.
But I mean, it ain't that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So let me tell you the story about Mercedes and the three-pointed star and how it all began and why it was called. I would go into the entire song and dance.
Yeah.
And because of that, they'd always come back.
That's awesome.
Because it was me.
Well, you educated them.
Right. I wasn't trying to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just simply educating.
Selling is a gift, man. I don't necessarily know if I have the selling gift. I've thought about that a lot.
You've been doing it.
Well, but they always say a good salesman will never be out of work, and I guess I'm living that, kind of thing. But to your point,
can we be a better salesman is the question.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, getting yourself to a point where, you're educating your customer. And I think that's what we've all talked about. Right. I mean, this whole conversation just a minute ago that is all about educating the customer. This is why we may be a better fit for you than, or whatever.
Right.
But your idea of yes, you can buy that car up the street, 100,000 miles down the road for $3,000 less. But let me tell you why.
Right.
And that's a great car.
No, you're actually in that in that methodology, you're getting them to sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, why this one versus that one?
Right.
Why me versus the other guy?
Right.
Well, first you showed up. Great. Why else?
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep asking questions.
Well, because you're here now and I really like you. Terrific. Why else?
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrific.
Did you have
terrific? Why else?
Did you have that experience? Like, you're really good at it, at sales. You really are. I'm not just telling you that. Did that come from the car industry?
Yeah.
So you learned it pretty much several years you spent there?
The car business will teach you the fundamentals of selling. They call it the road to the sale. And it pretty much can be applied just about to anywhere.
Okay.
Now, there are certain products and services that have longer sales cycles, for what we do here with the lighting. The lighting industry and the car wash industry, you're not going to hard sell somebody.
Right.
You can educate. You can certainly trial close. You could certainly have those types of things. Hey, when were you thinking of moving forward? At trade shows, John, I learned a lot from John. He's a world-class salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He's all about, at a trade show, you sell the appointment. You're not going to sell product at a trade show. You sell when can we get on a phone and go over what is it you're needing to do? And for what we're doing, it's highly specialized, so it's not that difficult. We've got a few select clients or competitors that are higher in price. We're right in the middle.
Right.
And all these guys that operate car washes they care about, I want it to work. I don't want it to give me headaches.
Sure.
If we need to change up the light show, how easy is it? Can I get it on my phone?
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
We're selling just less headaches.
Right.
With the appeal of bringing more cars in because they got a light show.
Yeah, sure.
That's what we're selling at the end of the day.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
But yes, the fundamental of the sale is relatively the same. It has to shift though. It has to evolve. Some of the things that I heard in the car business that other salespeople would use are typically what gives salespeople in the car business a bad name.
Okay.
Like you could totally get that rate. Like, you don't know that.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a myriad of sales, especially when I worked for Honda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we could totally get 0.9. You don't know that, dude. Did you pull a credit report on them?
Yeah.
So whenever I would get that question, I would simply say, I don't know. I haven't pulled a credit report. We're not the bank. We have connections with it. Would you like to start out by filling out a credit report to get an assessment? And even then, until we submit the deal with the money involved, it's like putting a puzzle together.
Sure.
We're not going to know until we get answers back from the banks.
Right.
But based on if you're an 850 Beacon, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Right.
But I would always hedge.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't have a problem. I would never say you shouldn't have. That's a definite.
Yeah.
I would always hedge because it helped me sleep better at night and it helps them to trust you.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
That's great, man. Building relationships, honesty and integrity.
Yeah. I used to, the guy I'm still friends with, we do a podcast called Ales and Tales. We're doing it on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. He taught me some amazing techniques. He was one of the first guys I worked with in the car business. He trained me a lot. We're still friends to this day. He's like, just always nod.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I find myself doing that.
Yeah.
Because I tell my kids, there's only two types of scenarios and people in this world. It's a seller be sold world. Mm-hmm. And those are selling and those are being sold.
Yeah. Sure.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think ultimately in your situation, could you be better at sales? Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
I
course.
think we can be better at everything that we do. Always strive to be better.
But your testimony of a business that you've built means that you know how to sell.
We're doing something, So I just wish it was easier,
Of course.
Of course, I guess that's stupid. So, kind of thing.
No.
This has got my attention up here, your graphics. It reminds me of Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
First concert I ever saw, 1984.
Oh,
Hampton Coliseum.
Jealous.
Oh, it was great. Saw Jump was on that record and all that good stuff, man. So,
I don't know if I've ever actually showcased that, but I'm going to. So
Yeah.
for those of you listening in the room here, I've got all sorts of toys.
That's awesome.
I just put it up on the screen if you're watching, but my wife painted the...
your wife painted that for
my
you?
wife
Wow.
painted that little mural for me when we moved in here.
That's good.
It's the Frankenstrat design that is iconic for Eddie Van Halen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So...
Yeah, man. So first concert I ever saw. Matter of fact, I was 12 years old. I was a paper boy and won a subscription selling. I guess I have been selling for a long time.
Yeah.
Won a subscription for selling. Won an award for selling the most subscriptions for the paper, and so my prize was Hampton Coliseum Van Halen 1984 tour.
Gosh.
Baby on the cover, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Freaking Ellie and David Lee Roth walks out, man, Jim, and I'm like, oh my God. oh my God, I want to be him.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
You were what, 13 at the time?
I was 12 years old. Yeah. Good.
Oh,
Good with numbers.
Was that your first concert?
First concert ever in a massive coliseum like that, and no parents around because we all went with the supervisor. Yeah, that was back in the Coliseum days, man, where you walk out and you're not going to be able to talk or hear anything for a week because it's so loud. You smell like a Marlboro Red,
or something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Wacky weed.
Yeah. But I definitely got the live entertainment hook from those guys, and that was a huge record, man. Jump was on there, Hot for Teacher.
That record almost didn't happen.
Panama, which is crazy. Imagine if it did not happen. I mean, we wouldn't know it if it didn't happen, kind of thing. But knowing that we know now, to know that it almost did not happen, it would be a shocker.
It took Eddie building 5150 Studios in order for that record to happen, because he had to do it under the radar.
Oh,
Ted Templeman and Warner Brothers Records, I think at the time. Ted Templeman is a producer of note on record, but I don't think he really produced a lick on that album.
Yeah.
He wouldn't allow them to do Jump. He says it sounds like something you hear at a baseball game.
Oh wow!
Bum, 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 like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was their biggest song ever.
Yeah.
It was their biggest song ever.
Yeah, iconic. As soon as you hear that dun, 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 you know what it is, kind of thing.
You hear nuances of it in other songs in earlier years.
Yeah. I'm a big Elton John fan too, and he's got some pretty classic, iconic things. Like we went and saw him here at Bridgestone when he came through, and he walks out on stage, Jim, and he's kind of waddling,
Yeah.
And he gets behind his piano and he goes bang.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, 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 bang. One bang, and it,
they know it.
Isn't that great? You know, I mean, it's so great. And man. So
that's not what's being done either today. It's tough to, like, if you read the book they put out. Alex Van Halen put out a book called Brothers after Eddie died. Actually, within the last year he put it out. I listened to it. I bought the book. And there's other books I need to read as well that talk about the other side of things, because it's, his take of their relationship. But he always talked about his father, because their father was a professional musician too.
100%.
He says, what you guys want to do is that whenever someone hears a recording of yours, they're going to know it's you.
That's awesome. My wife's a U2 fan, and that iconic YouTube Edge guitar deal is
the delay.
Yeah, you just know. And to study him and the rig he's got to make that noise, that sound, that tone or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's massive. I'm like, man, come on, man. Now you can get kind of like your road thing. You get this massive console now consolidated into here.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing. And
my brother and I.
But
my brother's a musician as well. He's been playing keys since piano and everything since he's probably 5 or 6 years old. And when he was on my podcast about almost a year ago, we talked about all the things, because Van Halen 1984 was my gateway record.
Okay,
so I literally in a tent on Assateague Island. On vacation in Ocean City when I was about 8 years old in 1984. Friend of ours that we were camping with, vacationing with, he and my brother went down to go do an early morning swim and leave little brother behind by himself. So I wake up and our buddy's boom box was right there in our tent. I kid you not, dude. I just went and hit play, and the opening salvo of 1984 came on.
Oh, man.
The opening keyboard thing,
man,
and then it goes into Jump, into Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs, Flip It Over, Hot for Teacher, and I was hooked.
Man, you're taking me down memory lane, man, because that, as an artist, I'm always a big believer in intros, man. Intros. You got to catch this audience, because we're normally opening it up for the headliners. We're not the headliners. So, okay, what can we do different? And I have studied that opening 1984 so many times. Eruption is the name of it. Is that the name?
No. It's just it's called 1984.
Okay.
Eruption is the guitar solo from the first album.
Okay, gotcha.
78.
Gotcha. And you just hear that. And if you got a good system, man, it's rumbling, kind of thing, and all that, and the mysterious. I love Elvis's 2000. What is it? The Space Odyssey. When he would come out with that thing, and I just can't imagine seeing being in the arena when he would come into town and the freaking orchestra's doing their thing and Tiffany's are going, man, and just building up all this anticipation, and then the freaking king walks out.
Do you remember how Van Halen started the concert? Was it lights out kind of thing, and then?
I don't remember that.
No.
I just remember where your moment was pushing that play button and hearing it. My moment was as soon as this guy walked out on stage, he commanded the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. High kicks,
Yeah.
Lean, mean, you
Yep.
know, just on it, you know.
He was a
and
front man of front man.
front man. And then of course, Eddie playing guitar, Michael Anthony. I could not understand for the longest time. And I even look at this with you too. It's like, man, they make some serious, it's a wall of
Four
music.
guys.
It is a wall of music, man.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie playing keyboard on Jump, you know, kind of thing. Playing keyboard, a guitar strapped around his neck.
Yeah.
You know, doing this thing. You know, I mean, it's just an amazing.
No tracks.
Yeah, amazing thing, man. And
Look at Rush.
those Rush 3-man band,
A big wall of sound.
3-man band. I mean, I've seen them live. They're fantastic. ZZ Top, same thing. You know,
I've seen ZZ Top. I've seen Rush probably 6 times.
Yeah.
I saw Van Halen twice in the Hagar years.
okay. So how about Kiss?
Never saw Kiss.
Never saw Kiss.
Never had an interest in them.
I got a story for you real quick if you got a minute.
Yeah.
I have a twin brother back home, and we grew up when Kiss started. I was born in 71, so I think Kiss got together in 74. So as we're coming along, elementary school, I think I was in the 2nd grade. I was Ace Frehley, box costume, plastic mask. You sweat in it too much, it's just a mess, you know.
Yeah.
Kiss lunchbox. I mean,
Gosh,
huge Kiss
man.
fan. I mean, you know.
Those freaking costumes.
They
I
were
remember
awesome.
those.
The rubber band around the back, you know, kind of thing. So anyway, so we were Kiss fans. One of the first records I had, I would say the first 5 records I had was Love Gun. And it was cool, man. Racy, like half naked women on the front cover. And I cannot believe my mom and dad bought me the record, you know, because of that. And they had like a Love Gun pop gun in it where it like you go like that and Love Gun comes out or whatever. Anyway, long story short, never saw Kiss live, but I've always heard they were incredible. So I think it was in 2023. They had the End of the Road tour in Madison Square Garden. Well, they toured the tour, and the last show, Tanya told me about it, my wife. She goes, listen, Kiss is playing their last show in New York where they kind of started, you know. And I was like, well, what's that look like? She goes, they're going to do a Friday and a Saturday night in Madison Square Garden. And I was like, what's the last show? She goes, Saturday night, Madison Square Garden. So I said, well, see if we can get 2 tickets, and I'll surprise my brother with it. So she was able to get tickets. We got them. I called my brother up and I said, man, this is you got to go. No expenses on your end. Just get an airline ticket and meet me in New York on this X, Y, and Z kind of thing. So we did. We actually flew to New York. It was Christmas time. It was incredible. Went and saw Kiss play at the MSG.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, it was the best show probably I've ever seen in my life as far as theatrical fire. I mean, Jim, the fire was so hot, you know, that you could just feel it on your eyebrows, you know, kind of thing. It was a big night there. They had it was pay-per-view to the world kind of thing. And then at the end of the show, we're all walking out, and I happened to notice off to my shoulder, I was like, man, there's some action going on over here at these tables. What's going on over there? And they were giving out these, looked like a VHS cassette box, black with Gold Kiss written on it, giving them out like crazy, you know, and everybody's like being jerks about it, like grabbing like it's like the last whatever.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a box, and my brother grabbed a box, and they were cellophane wrapped. And I was like, look, man, let's not open these boxes up until we get home with our parents or with our kids and wives and just see what this is all about. This might be something kind of cool, because Gene Simmons is a master at marketing.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
He brands anything that he possibly can. So we did that, and we got online that night to see, hey, who got the box? Because we thought they might have given them out at the Friday night show, right? No chatter at all online about it at all. Next morning, we're eating breakfast before we fly out, and the place we're at is just filled with Kiss Army. These people come in from all over the world, man. These Kiss fans, and they were like, "Did you get a black box? Did you get? No, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, kind of thing." Now, my brother and I are not in the Kiss Army. We're not like diehard Kiss fans, man. We just wanted to see it to kind of bring our childhood back together. And so we get home, and he gets home. We open these boxes up, man, and we pull it out, and it is a 24 karat gold plated ticket to commemorate the last show in New York City. It had the authenticity number on it. It had a little card that had all their signatures on it. They weren't live signatures, you know.
Right.
It had a sweet little stand that you put it on kind of thing. And so we're freaking out about this. Going, man, this is pretty cool, man. And it's heavy. I mean, this is legit, you know. We were kind of thinking like, ain't no way Gene would have done something as nice as this, you know, and give it away, right? So a couple of days later, he's fishing. My brother's fishing around the internet to find out, you know, what's the story on these gold tickets, you know, kind of thing. So the deal is, they only produced 10,000 of these tickets. 5,000 were going to go out on the Friday night show. 5,000 were going to go out on the night that I went, the last show. Well, the Madison Square Garden staff forgot to give out the 5,000 here on Friday night. So all 10,000 went out on that Saturday night show.
Oh, wow.
So we're sitting on a piece of something that could be valuable one day. And at the time, that was 3 days later, that ticket was worth $3,500 to a KISS fan.
Oh, wow.
I still have it. I'm not going to get rid of it. I mean, it's just part of my life. But I just thought it was cool that, you know, we'd never seen KISS live. We're in a 21,000 seat arena that pretty much everybody there are KISS fans, diehard. Here we are. Knuckleheads like us end up with these commemorative 24-karat gold tickets. Everybody's pissed. They were demanding that Gene and Paul mass produce more, so everybody that went to those shows got one. And Gene's like, forget you, buy one. You know. So yeah, man. So going from Van Halen to KISS. Those are some good freaking days. I wonder sometimes, Jim, man, am I becoming that old man? You know, because sometimes I listen to stuff my daughter listens to, and I'm like, man, let's listen to some good music. Let's listen to some Zeppelin and some, you know.
There's an element of the stuff we grew up in a very good time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The music that's coming out today, my question to a lot of people on Rich's show, artists, influential people, drummers, whoever are in the music industry, what is being recorded and made today that's going to have the longevity and multi-generational effect like a Don't Stop Believin' or an Africa or, you know, Bon Jovi's hits, those types of things that they still get played today. Yeah. You're hearing them on Broadway. There very well could be something out there I'm just not aware of. You know, we may not be around until, you know, our kids get nostalgic about what they grew up with. Yeah. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of crazy because my wife, and I've realized this too on some customers that we have that are around our age, where they'll go back and like, they're like, man, if the Backstreet Boys come back through, I want to go see them or something like that. You know, for my daughter, it's going to be the Jonas Brothers or something like that. And those guys are legit. I mean, I've gone and seen them play, you know, in concert and stuff.
I'm a closeted boy band fan. I always liked that.
Yeah.
Well, not closeted anymore.
Yeah.
So, man, how do everybody find and follow you on the socials and all that stuff?
Man, well, number one, thank you for having me here.
This
has been a wonderful afternoon with you. It's been really nice. It's been nice to air out my laundry a little bit. I felt like sometimes you feel like you're in this thing all alone, man. You know, kind of thing. So
vulnerability never helps.
Really do appreciate you having me on. I'd love to do this again with you sometime and pick your brain more.
Sure.
But yeah, you can find me. CWMeekinsGroup.com is where you'll find my remodeling business. We run commercials on TV. We've got print going on in the home mag here in town.
Got to start advertising on podcasts.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Christian Brothers right there. Brought to you by Crazy Carl. But and then definitely my music thing, if we can hit that a little bit, that's easy. It's Carl Wayne Meekins. Just Google that name up. I'm on all the platforms and social medias and things of that nature. And kind of, I like your idea of coupling everything together. Maybe one day we'll do that. That'd be good.
Give it a shot. See what happens. All you can do is
try. Man, I wish you best of luck in everything you're doing. You're kicking butt and taking names already. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. All the things will be in the description as always. Make sure you find and follow him as always. And of course, mmtbp is our .com is our website as well, where you can find and follow us, even though you're listening to us now. I don't know why I just said that. But sharing is caring, and making sure everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, share it out. We would love that, as well as the link there to be a guest on the show. You can fill it out and send it in. We do receive them. And we'll look over and try and reach out to you. mmtbp.com. CW Carl Wayne Meekins.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you, man.